Hey gang, all right, end of our first week. So as I promised, we're gonna move on to a topic that is easier because you've done it before. I just wanna do a quick little review of Pythagorean theorem. We'll walk through some questions and then you're on your way. If you need anything, I'll be online most of the day, so you can let me know. Hopefully we're getting better in the world and I'll see you guys really soon. All right, take care, miss you guys. Okay, so the first question is a little different. First off, Pythagorean theorem. Hopefully you're all remembering it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And the most important part is that you need to remember c is your longest side of the right triangle. So when it asks you to explain the converse of the Pythagorean theorem, it's almost asking you to what can you get out of the Pythagorean theorem backwards? So letter A, it says the converse of the theorem states that if the square of one side of a triangle is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, then the triangle is a right triangle. And that's exactly the converse of the theorem. The theorem itself says if I square two sides of a right triangle, so the actual theorem is telling us it is a right triangle, so this is what happens. Converse means that if you know this is what's happening, then we can conclude that it is a right triangle. So letter A would definitely be the answer to that. All right, next question, question 2. We have a diagram here. Mrs. Bird set up her kindergarten classroom, so there was a right triangular area. So it's telling you you have a right triangle. So now if bookshelf A is 6 feet, so I'm just going to label that 6 feet, and bookshelf B is 8 feet, and I can squeeze that in there, then we want to know what's the length of bookshelf C. Well, it's kind of convenient that they also labeled bookshelf A as an A and B as a B, because now using the theorem, I can write 6 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. Squaring the two, I get 36 plus 64. Adding, I get 100. And the last step is always make the square go away by square rooting both sides. We get an answer of 10, and thankfully I do see 10 as an option. So our answer would be 10 feet. Question 4. Go. It says the triangle above has sides A, B, and C. The measurement of A is 3. The measurement of B is 4, and the measurement of C is 5. So it wants to know which statement is true. So really, we know the side lengths. So we're not being asked to use the theorem to find a missing side. What we're really doing, this is a converse question. It wants to know, is this indeed a right triangle? So if it is a right triangle, then that means 3 squared plus 4 squared would equal the same thing as 5 squared. So 3 squared gives me the 9, 4 squared 16, 5 squared is 25, 9 plus 16 is indeed 25. So because it's a true statement, we want to look through our options. Letter A says the triangle is a right triangle. That is absolutely true. Question 5. Which of the following could be side lengths of a right triangle? So you're being told you want a right triangle, so that means plug these in to the formula and see which one works. So now here we've got square roots in all of them. Don't be afraid, because remember, we're going to be squaring all of those sides. And when you square a square root, they just cancel out. So in other words, which of these numbers, if I take the two smallest and add them together, will I get the biggest? All right, and to save time in this case, if I look at letter C, square root of 88 squared, just write this, plus the square root of 22 squared, because those are the two smallest. Does that equal the square root of 110 squared? So again, square root being squared cancels out, so really I'm left with 88 plus 22 equaling 110. Does 88 plus 22 equal 110? Yes, it does. So because of that being the case, letter C would be a right triangle. Last one, let's do a word problem here. So talking about almost like a map, Anthony was mapping out his ride. You can see that Pine Avenue seems to be traveling north. Forest Lane, we could say, was traveling east. And what we want to know, if somebody goes 10 miles on Forest Lane and 26 miles up Cedar Drive, how far will Anthony ride down Pine Avenue to get back? So this is just another way of them telling you that this bottom piece, Forest Lane, is 10. This angled piece, Cedar Drive, is 26. So we want to know what's that missing length. So using the Pythagorean theorem, x, I'll just call that x squared, plus 10 squared equals 26 squared. So simplifying, x squared plus 100 equals, oh goodness, 26 squared. I don't have my calculator here, so let's just do this quick. 26 times 26 gives me 36, 12, 15, 0, 12, 5, 6. I get 676. I'm going to subtract the 100 away to get my x squared by itself. So I get 576. Finally, square root both sides, and I get an answer of 24. So C would be my answer, 24 miles. All right, hope that helps you. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to starting something new with you on Monday. All right, take care.